Hello, security pros, and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on today's ESA webinar, ClareOne, the all-in-one powerhouse for integrated security and smart homes. During this webinar, we will show you how we can simplify your day-to-day tasks and win more business. We'll demonstrate ClareOne's effortless setup and how our cloud-based programming tool consolidates account configuration, property management, alarm monitoring, and remote troubleshooting. Current and new customers will get a special offer at the end of the webinar. I'm Demi Norris, one of the marketing specialists for ESA, and I'm excited to lead this webinar today. Before we dive in, I'd like to provide some tips for those of you joining us for your first ESA webinar. Welcome, and you will be muted for the duration of this session, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear from you. If a question or comment comes to mind at any point during today's session, just click the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen, and I'll ensure that we save some time for your questions with our experts today. We will also be recording this webinar, so you can rewatch the on-demand session and share with your colleagues. Tomorrow, keep an eye out because you'll receive an email thanking you for your attendance and with a link to the recording. We at ESA realize that your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending some of that time with us today. So without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to our professionals. We have Jerry Bolda, sales engineer, as well as Richard and Curtis from Snap One answering questions in the background. Take it away, Jerry.
Thanks for the introduction. Thank you, everybody, for joining this afternoon, for taking the time. This is going to be just about an hour long. We will leave a little bit of time at the end for some questions. But what we're going to do is an overview of the ClareOne system, talk about the ecosystem, a little bit about the cameras, things like that. As she said, if you have questions during the presentation, you can always use the chat or the questions, and Curtis and Richard will try to address those. So I'm Jerry Bolda, Clare sales engineer. I came from the Clare company. I was working there for probably 12 years about, so pretty well versed with the system. We'll be going through a little bit of product, how things work together, integrations, and so on. So I'm going to pull up this PowerPoint here, and hopefully you can see. So what we're going to talk about, who are we? Who is Clare? Where did we come from? A little bit about our history, market position, the ecosystem, how everything works together, why Clare, the customer experience, products and services. We'll go through resources, things like our support group, how to get a hold of people, if you have trouble with the system and whatnot, and closing summary. So let's get started. So quickly about our story. History in the smart home and security. Right now, we're exclusively authorized integrators purchased online at Snap AV or snap1.com or at one of our local 40+ local stores. We now have stores rapidly appearing in a lot of the cities. You can walk in and purchase products. Combining the best of smart home and security, powerful dealer tools, and a complete video solution. So we'll be talking about the ClareOne system, which is the all-in-one smart home and security, Fusion Pro, which is the back-end programming tool, cloud-based, and ClareVision, which focuses on our camera solutions. So where are we in the market? Where do we fit in? So you can see this little timeline filling the gap. Down, starting at the left-hand side, you have do-it-yourself. We are all familiar with point solutions. The limited RMR, Nest and Ring are really good examples of that. You can buy them in most of the stores. You can probably even buy them on Amazon these days. You walk in, you get those products, and 9 out of 10 times they're going to have you sign up with an email address, and there's going to be an RMR, and you're going to have to pay, right? You're going to pay, and depending on how much storage space you want, those prices increase. The next one up, we have security-centric solutions. Limited integration support when we have listed alarm.com 2 gig. Most of us are familiar with those security systems where they do require payment and options. Some of the time it's a la carte pricing where you add certain things to the system and the price goes up. I'm happy to say, of course, with our system, you can have as many devices on our system as you'd like to, and the price does not increase. We do have several different service plans that you can choose from, anywhere from a free system all the way up to full integrated security monitoring. So we have a unified platform, security plus true smart home control. We got the recurring revenue opportunities, and we have a huge broad device support, and it's cost effective. A lot of these systems came from a security system, right? They've developed their systems from security. Years ago, Claire actually started from a smart home system where we've had full integrations from wall to wall, meaning we did entertainment, we did distributed audio, distributed video, all of that. So we have a huge driver database. So typically, you don't have to go and have, if customers are already using some devices, maybe door locks, thermostats, and so on, you probably do not have to swap those out for new ones. We integrate with most of the modern devices that they sell. Next on the list, we have the full home automation. We have Control4 as an example. They do the entire house, right? They do, you can do theaters, you can do wall-to-wall entertainment, you can do distributed audio and such. That's also the best upgrade path for the Clare system. So if you have a system in, somebody wants to do an upgrade with the system, if they want just a little bit more on their system, they can do a clean upgrade to Control4. We work right in that system. It fits right in. It's a plug and play. Once you've had the Clare system in your home, if you have Control4, we will automatically populate in the Control4 and the security will show up. We're also working on another driver, which will include more devices in the near future. What's cool about Control4? Obviously, the security system integrates. They have a strong audio video support with the broadest device support. What does that mean? There's tons of different drivers you can use, ranging from Apple TVs, stereos, distributed audio, and such. It's an upsell from Clare. Like I said, it's a great way to upgrade the system. And Clare Security auto discovers in Composer, if you're familiar with Control4. ClareOne unifies wireless security with sophisticated smart home. So from the left to right here, the ecosystem, we have the Clare Home app. It looks very similar to the ClareOne panel. As you can see, the tiles on both of those devices. We try to make it as consistent as possible. Excuse me. So if you're using one, you switch over to the other. It's not like a new system. They look very, very similar to each other. You use tiles, which are completely customizable on either device to customize how you want the feel and the look of your device. Next over, we have Fusion Pro. This is our back-end tool to manage. You can troubleshoot, and you do some of the programming through the cloud platform. Very, very easy to use. We just did a overhaul, changing some of the menu options and things. I encourage you to go ahead and take a look at this. I do a webinar on that as well. It's very simple to use. You can have these programmed in a matter of no time at all. On the far right, we have the ClareVision system. ClareVision has its own app. Priced right video solution can be standalone or ClareOne and Control4. These are not cloud-based systems. So the camera, if you're purchasing cameras, NVRs and things like that, or the doorbell, we do have no fees associated. We are not a cloud-based system. We record everything to an SD card. So we don't have fees, monthly fees for storage for those devices. We'll be getting into the cameras a little bit later. So how does this work? We have the Clare Cloud. Everything goes through the Clare Cloud. So if you want remote access that's going through, there's no more opening ports. There's no routing. There's nothing special that you need to do on your network. These are all they just work just by putting them in. Like I said, there's no more having to dive in and do any type of programming. And that goes for both the cameras and for the Clare Home system. If you're remote using the mobile device, that also works through the cloud as well. So when you're local, it connects to most of the devices locally. So there's zero latency and there's very little latency through the cloud. Very important screen. This is our security structure. This is the security tiers. You have choices here. So we have everything from a basic free system, no strings attached, all the way up to a fully monitored system using our LTE failover, which I'll describe here in a minute. So our basic interactive, full control over all of Clare's smart home devices and features. The homeowner can go in and create scenes, schedules, notifications, and automations. The only thing that this doesn't do is it doesn't allow you to get to the security features. So what does that mean? You can arm, disarm, and get to all of the zones and everything through the panel itself locally. But if you're away from the home and you're using the phone or mobile device, you don't have access to the security portion of your system. You can access everything else, which would be door locks, thermostats, audio, whatever else you have integrated, but you're limited. You do not have access to the security features if you're using a mobile device. So keep that in mind. That's the basic interactive. And on the next screen here, we'll pull up the pricing for that. Number two, you see to the next to it, it's the Clare Interactive. This is a popular selection as well. This is a self-monitored tier. You'll have full control of Clare's smart home devices and the security features. Now you'll get access to everything. Self-monitor security, you've got push notifications, emails, and texts. You can do all three of those if you wish, if you desire. There's no limitation. You can use those as much as you want to. Dealer determines homeowner pricing. Nice thing about this is we charge a low fee, and what happens is you go ahead and you can charge your customer whatever you feel, maybe it's your marketing in the area to be competitive. You could be, at $9.99 or something like that. Like I said, we'll pull up the pricing on the next page. So that's the next one over. It's self-monitored, meaning this is a non-central station monitored system. So the 1 and 2 do not do any type of security monitoring. It can be self-monitored with your own notifications. Monitoring starts with number 3 and number 4. So Clare Interactive Plus. This enables central station alarm reporting over the home network. So if you have your internet service provider, it's AT&T, Xfinity, and so on, you're relying on that network to deliver those alarms to the central station. So that's great, but what happens, if maybe the internet goes down, you'll have no alarms being delivered to your central station. So you just need to be aware of that. A lot of people, if they're going to be using the Clare Interactive Plus, most of them elect to choose the next tier up, which is the Clare Interactive Plus LTE, which does everything that you see in the lower tiers, except this actually uses the LTE backup that's in the ClareOne panel. Every one of the ClareOne panels, whether it's a Verizon variety or AT&T, come with an LTE card built in. You don't have to go in there and mess with the card or put it in. You don't have to touch it at all, unless you're advised by maybe support or something like that. But we rarely have any problems with the backup card. So every single ClareOne panel comes with the LTE card, SIM card installed. It's just a matter of what service plan you choose is whether you're going to activate that card or not. So that's the top tier, Clare Interactive Plus LTE. What can you do over the cellular? If you lose network connectivity with your internet service provider at your home, you'll have full access to the system, including the security. The only thing I don't believe you'll have is streaming from the cameras, just because those hog a lot of bandwidth. But everything else on your system, you'll be able to control, see, view, manage. So that's lights, locks, thermostats, security, whatever you have connected, you'll have access to those over that LTE connection. This is not a dual path. I just want to make note that this is a failover. So if your internet service provider goes down, we immediately switch over to that LTE and you'll have full access that way. This next page, this actually shows the fees for all 4 of the service plans. You can see the basic interactive. This is free. When I say free, that really is free. You can have as many devices on the system as you wish, but you will not be able to access the security system remotely through the mobile app. And I just want to stress, you can still use it, locally. If you walk up to the panel itself, you can arm, disarm, see zone statuses and things. You just cannot access that through the mobile app. So that's the number 1 platform service plan. Number 2, you can see that's $1 a month. So I think that's a pretty darn good deal. You can go and you can charge your customers, whatever's ideal, whatever the going rate is around your area. I've actually seen them go from $4.99 up to, I've seen $15.99. And that's, you're getting charged. We never charge the customer. The customer does not know these prices. So you can charge, whatever you need to charge. So this is a great way to start off with recurring revenue. You don't need to actually have a security license if they're doing this self-monitoring, but be aware of state to state. The laws and things do change, and they are different from place to place. Some states are very strict, while others are a little more lenient in this case. So this includes the benefits, everything from the basic interactive plan. This unlocks the self-monitoring. Again, the self-monitoring would be push notifications, emails, and texts. Remote support through Fusion Pro and Oversee, and we'll get to the Oversee here in a bit. Free next-day on-site service if needed. Clare Interactive Plus, which is down at number 3, jumping down to the bottom here. This is the central monitoring, the first tier that does central station monitoring, but this is only over your internet service provider. So what happens, like I said before, if something happens to the network, those alarms will not get delivered to the central station. So this tier does everything, including access to the security system, but the only thing it doesn't have is the failover of LTE. So we kick up to that fourth plan, which is the main plan, probably the most popular. The cost is $5 a month. And I didn't mention that the previous service plan is $3 a month, as you can see there. So for that $2 more, you get the $5 a month, and that includes the LTE. There's no fees. You don't have to call Verizon. You don't have to call AT&T. You just click activate when you're programming the system, and it'll automatically activate the card. And I don't want to be confusing. I just want to make sure everyone's aware that $5 a month does not include central station monitoring. We send the alarms to the central station. Usually we can use the central station if you're already doing monitoring with a different system. There's a good chance we'll continue to use your central station. We'll just have to make a couple of configuration changes, and we'll be able to use your existing central station. We have a long list of who we can use. So we forward those alarms to the central station. So it's going to be $5 a month plus whatever you may be paying for accounts through your central station. So it should be less than right around $10 or less for the monitoring for the entire system. And then of course you guys probably charge anywhere from $29.99 up to $59.99 or whatever the going rate is in your area. So this last plan here, the $5, includes quite a bit. It's a lot of bang for the buck, if you will. And it does include the LTE backup. So if you have questions, you can definitely ask or write them down, and we can answer them in the Q&A session. So why would you want to use the system? You can increase profitability and grow your business with recurring revenue. Start profitable choice for security dealers and custom integrators. Your product offerings are going to be different. There's not a ton of Claire going on right now. There's a lot of Control4 and other systems that I won't mention. But I mean, it's a great system. Even if you're doing a higher end system, this is a great system to have, in your pocket, in your arsenal. For those people that maybe can't afford to have a full Control4 system or something like that, you can offer this to them. And it does quite a bit. You'll be surprised on there's not very many limitations of what it can do. Tons of different variety of integrations and such. So you can actually get your foot in the door with the free smart home, which is a great thing for builders, especially when you're going to a builder meeting. The first thing they're probably going to ask is the price. They're not going to ask you if it works or if it's great. If it's people like it, they're going to say, how much does it cost? So you can always lead with the free, and then you can go up from there. All-in-one solution with unique upsell strategy with Control4. As I mentioned previously, it's a great upsell. It's a great way to upgrade. If you're going to be doing a Control4 system, this is the security system you're going to want to use. Remote system troubleshooting with overseas support. So overseas is baked into the ClareOne panel. All you need is the MAC address and the serial number, and you can put this into your overseas environment. So between Fusion Pro programming tool, which is cloud-based, and overseas, we pretty much have the bases covered for troubleshooting. I tell everyone I work with, don't roll that truck until you at least go into Fusion Pro and look at these accounts, or go into overseas to check your devices before you go down to a site. So powerful video solution, cost-effective integrated video starting at 73 dealer cost. So we'll get into the cameras here in the second part of the PowerPoint. Customer experience, as you can see, there's a ton of different brands down at the bottom. I'm sure you can recognize some of them. The in-house brands that we have at Snap One, we integrate with a lot of them as well. And if we don't now, we are constantly working on integrating different things. We've already do the Watt box, which is great. It shows up as a keypad. You can see there's tons of different thermostats. There's different lighting we use, Lutron, which is very popular. It's most of the Z-Wave devices we're compatible with. We also use the voice assistants, Alexa and the Google Assistant. Brands you know and trust, full integration with hundreds of smart home and security product brands that customers are asking about. Great thing with this is, you're going to be offering the system. They might already have a garage door opener that's of a different brand. They might already have a door lock or something like that. You don't need to usually swap those out. You can continue to use their existing equipment, and that's usually a good thing, because people, they buy their things at the retail stores and they want them to work with the system. everybody wants to have just one app, right? People really don't like to have 4 or 5 different apps to be able to control their system. So the Claire solution is a great way to get everything under one umbrella. So around this little circle here, this will just highlight some of the things we do. We got the smart lighting. Like I said, we have our own Claire lighting that we have and that we sell. It's actually Z-Wave. But we work with a lot more lighting than that. Like I mentioned earlier, the Lutron solutions we work with Philips Hue and so on. Home security, this is security that's built right into the panel. We work with security cameras. We really suggest you use our cameras, but we do work with Nest cameras and other ones. Smart thermostats, we work with all of the popular thermostats. Especially when we're working with builders, typically they have contracts with a thermostat manufacturer, so we make sure that we can use whatever they're using. We have voice control, there's garage doors, smart shades, we do a ton of different shades. Entertainment devices, this is where you would probably want to jump up to a Control4 solution if you're going to be doing the home theater distributed audio. Although we do work with Sonos and Hios, but some people want to go beyond that, with different speakers and rooms and control. Wireless audio, which is the Sonos and Hios, and there's other devices. The list goes on. There's water valves, there's gates, pools, fireplaces. We can do relays and things like that. And this all comes because we were from a smart home company before we started doing security. Of course, we do door locks as well. We are now integrating with the Schlage Yale. The new ones are actually cloud-based, and we are currently building and integrations for that. A closer look at the app. So this is the mobile app. We've got a simplified design. We have widgets. They just added widgets so that you can add these to your home screen. It gives you really simple, quick access to all the different devices. You can add thermostats. You can put your security there. It just saves time. Instead of having to pop the app open, you can access it right through your screen. You have remote security control. It's simple for the end users. You don't have to stand there and do much training. If they're used to using their iPhone or Android device, they'll have no problem using this. Fully customizable. It's kind of a surprise when you add a system that the page has come up with nothing, the tiles have nothing there. So typically we'll build out a quick template, if you will, for the customer. But it's fully customizable because we don't know what apps people want in what spot, right? They have lights, thermostats, locks, just like their iPhone. Their iPhone, if you take somebody else's iPhone, that's a good chance that the different apps and things are going to be in a different place than some that you have, because it's customizable. People put things where they want. We made this app the same way, so you can put these, push them around, add, delete, and so on. This is our audio, picture of the audio. We do work, like I said, with Sonos and Hios solutions. So we are able to switch speakers and add grouping and things like that right through our app. And cameras, we work with the cameras. We stream the cameras right through the mobile app, so you can see the cameras, view them, and we'll get into that here momentarily as well. So more about the app, you can make your own scenes, right? So the customer has a lot of power with our app. They can make the scenes, which we also call actions. There's scheduling. They can make different things, automations if they want. For example, somebody opens the door, maybe you want to disarm the security or turn lights on or something like that. It's all built into the system. There's do-it-yourself system expansion. If somebody chose to add a door lock, one of our supported on the list, they could literally go into our devices screen and add simple, easy devices, nothing extravagant, nothing that's going to be confusing to the user. We do very easy, simple devices like a plug-in module and things like that. Automations, like I just said, turn lights on and the basement doors opened, right? Maybe you want the light to automatically turn on. You can do things right through the app. The dealer and we do not have to get involved. However, we can see what the customer did through our Fusion Pro app. So if you ever get a phone call and they say, hey, I set this action up, but I scheduled the coach lights to come on and they're not coming on, we have the ability to go into Fusion Pro to their project and actually access the action that they just built. And we can say, hey, the schedule is wrong, or you didn't pick the correct light, or whatever the case may be. Notifications, we can do all the notifications that I described, which would be push notifications, texts, and emails. We do have built-in notifications for the important security notifications that you would want. That would include like a tamper, or maybe somebody breaks in and there's a security alert or an intrusion. Those are all built in, so you don't have to go in and build those out. So we have a lot of those built in just for that very reason. We don't, maybe if somebody didn't build one of those, somebody could have an intrusion alert and not be notified. So those are all built into the app and into the system. Here's another good look at the widgets. Up above, you can see there's the house. There's a scene there where you touch that and it can lock up the entire house with just a touch of a button. Down below, you've got a choice of 4 different tiles that you have fit into one widget. It shows the security, the lights, and a couple of the scenes. So those are easily accessible. You can tap on them and you can actually get into the app itself. It's a nice time saver. So here's the look at a home. You got the security devices. As you can see, there's CO detector smoke. There's a whole big long list of different sensors you can use with the ClareOne security system. You got the ClareOne panel in a central location in the home, a smart garage door opener, water detection, there's heat. Of course, there's the Clare video doorbell. We'll get into that too. Smart thermostats, indoor sirens, and so on. So the panel itself, we got a close-up look. Let's talk about this for a minute. You have an exceptional experience, unified smart home, and security. Everything's built into the panel. Everything comes with it, right? There's nothing you need to add on. And while I'm on this topic, we do have the 2 different panels, one being an AT&T and one being Verizon. What makes the difference is the SIM card that's into the back of the panel. They're not interchangeable. In other words, you can't buy a Verizon panel and go swap it out with a Verizon card. There's a couple of hardware changes and differences in the panels. I just want to get that out because, we've had maybe an instance where someone might purchase one of these and try to do a hot swap and try to turn it into a different type of carrier. It doesn't work that way. So, before you make your purchase, because both of these are available on the Snap One on the website or in the store, just make sure, I would say we sell probably 2 or 3 times more Verizon than AT&T, but we do offer both. So just make sure when you're purchasing it, you pay attention to that. Again, just like the app, the screen on the ClareOne panel, it's fully customizable. You can put these tiles wherever you want. Maybe you want quick access to the security or things that are important to you. You can put them on the top or in the middle row. You can move these around. You can add, delete. You can just like an iPhone. It's almost like a tablet. Simple and easy to use. It works with devices customers love. All their thermostats. You can see how simple this is to use. It's easier than walking up to the thermostat itself. Contemporary outside with robust technology inside. This is a look at our shades development. We did this a couple months ago. You can't beat it. I mean, I haven't seen anyone integrate shades like this before. You have the vane tilt. You can see that on the left. You can either use your finger to go up and down where you can see that white there. It goes up and down. The background changes depending on the time of day. Or you can use the bottom slider to quickly open and close. You can also add these in scenes if you choose. You can do scheduling. So you don't have to have a really expensive system to be able to do shade control. So it's actually pretty neat. Reduces installation time. It's really simple. When you get a panel out of the box, this thing starts up to a startup wizard. There's about 4 or 5 screens. You walk through it. You could literally have a security system up and running in 15 minutes, depending on the size of the home. Settings. So if you want to dive deeper into the panel here, there's a lot of different settings you can have. Everything that you see here on the panel, you can access everything through Fusion Pro as well, which is great, right? Maybe you forgot to do something or change to the chime on, or maybe turn on voice control. You can do all of that and get access to that through Fusion Pro. So it's great to be able to control everything remotely. Another close-up view of the panel. We got the camera at the top. That will actually take a snapshot if somebody arms, disarms, or goes into the settings on the panel, just in case you have a alarm situation. Somebody turns off the alarm or something, and no one wants to admit who did it. You can actually have a picture of the person that triggered. Contemporary design. The thing is pretty thin. It looks darn good on the wall. It doesn't protrude out too much. We have the different icons on the bottom, which are very easy to navigate to. There's a security shield, which is obviously for the security. There's a home, which is your smart home devices, which are the tiles you can see on the screen. The one that looks like a little heartbeat monitor in the center, that's your home activity. That'll have a whole list of all the different things that are happening on the system. It might be doors opening and closing. It's an activity log. So you can see that. The next one over is the settings cog to get into all the different the settings in there. And then last, you have an emergency button. This emergency button is for security panic. This works well if you're using a monitored system because one tap there, you can do a silent alarm and have the police there, in a real quick manner. There's LEDs at the bottom. Those actually change color depending on the situation. If it's armed, disarmed, bypassed zones, if the system's in ready, and so on. So security panic, we talked about that. Configurable favorites dashboard, that's all the different tiles that you can move around and edit. Panel supports up to 232 Z-Wave devices. It's actually 231 because there's a controller embedded in the panel itself. And then supports up to 128 security zones and 99 users. That's quite a few. We also have takeover modules, right? We have a wireless takeover module and a hardwired takeover module. If you're doing a system and taking over an older hardwired security system, you can use our panel to use in its place. In our spring release, which was not just a couple of months ago, we did a Sonos text-to-speech action, which is incredible. We have such a tight integration with Sonos, and we work with them regularly. You can actually type in words that you want to put in and put it into a scene and play that scene, and it'll actually speak those words either in a male or female voice, up to maybe like 300 or 400 characters long. It's pretty neat. You can trigger this. Maybe there's an alarm situation. Maybe you have something scheduled and you want people to come for some reason. You can actually make the speakers talk. It's pretty neat. We have support for the RET GDO MyQ Garage device and EcoLink. If you're not, excuse me, for those that aren't aware, we do have an integration with the MyQ Garage Door Opener. We are going back and forth currently with them with negotiations just to try to get them to play nicely so we can start using their garage door device again. We did a nice clean integration a couple of years ago and it was working perfectly. And then, things happen, things change. So we do have workarounds for that. So if you are using a MyQ garage door device, you're not out of luck. We have other ways to control the garage door. We would prefer to do the MyQ through MyQ, but right now it's on kind of a hold pattern. So that RAT GDO device you can purchase online. That's a Wi-Fi device. That's just a small little card that you can hook up to the garage door opener, and it works perfect. Same as that EcoLink Z-Wave garage door opener. Those are what people are using currently to circumvent, if you will, the MyQ issue. Next down, we have the Ultra Pro and Jasco. We use those switches and dimmers. They're Z-Wave. We actually carry those devices as well. Support for Clare shades, Tahoma shades. The list goes on. If you look into Fusion Pro, there's probably about 10 or 12 different shade manufacturers we work with. Next, simplified actions implemented for automations, notifications, scenes, and schedules. It's so easy to use. There's kind of a screenshot there we can see. Literally, you tap one and it guides the customer, what to tap next. It says, what device do you want to use? What do you want it to do? What action, and so on. Intelligent sensor function prioritization makes setup faster, streamlined setup. So actually, when you're done with the setup wizard on the panel, it puts a QR code up there that you can scan and you can get this immediately into our Fusion Pro backend. It's streamlined. It's really, really simple. It cuts a lot of time off. Offline customer notification instructions to reconnect. We now have something that pops up. Maybe they changed the password on their Wi-Fi network. We pop up a notification on their main screen there that says, hey, you're no longer connected to the network. Please go through and change whatever it is that you did, right? If they change the password, they're going to need to re-enter the password. If there's a problem on the network, there's different ways and solutions provided to check that out. We suppress motion events options, so we never want to flood their activity log with motion events when people are doing their daily lives, walking through the home and whatnot. So we do not congest any of the logs that people want to read and see. Into Fusion Pro, this is the back-end Fusion Pro. Like I said, there's been major overhauls done to this just recently, where we've streamlined it and we can get to access different devices quicker. Instead of digging in and clicking 2 or 3 buttons to try to get to something, we now have a menu on the left-hand side. It's a one click and you can get right in. The ClareOne panel, for instance, used to be about 3 or 4 clicks down. Now there's just one click to get right into the panel. It's a really nice upgrade. Disruptive pricing enhances dealer productivity, increases RMR margins. We have data analytics. You can pull reports. You can pull customized reports. You can check your central station data, right? Are these alarms making it to the central station? Are they what's going on, right? We have logging, both the activity log and we have a communication log built in. So like I said earlier, before you roll a truck to a customer's location, you're gonna want to check out Fusion Pro. It only takes a minute and you can sometimes see what's going on. Even if you can't fix an issue, you'll at least have an idea what to address when you get to the customer location, right? You don't want to go in and say, well, we don't know what's going on with your system. This way you'll, be proactive and be able to find out what's going on. A couple more screenshots, a step-by-step project process. You would add the panel right to the system using what we call a unique UUID, which comes on the back of every panel, or you can simply scan the QR code and add it right to Fusion Pro. You can have a panel in Fusion Pro within seconds. Once it's there, it's very intuitive. There's tabs that are set up from left to right. You just go through them. If you're adding devices, you pick your service plan, you choose it. You can do some troubleshooting to make sure the devices are working and whatnot. And that's just about it. Here we go with some of the accounts. These are some screenshots from Fusion Pro. I can see here up at the top, you can see right from a main dashboard, the information that's going on in your company, right? You'll have your own company that you administer. No one else will be able to see what's going on in your company. No one can access that, right? It's all yours. If you have a staff member you want to add, you guys do that yourself. I know with our old system, we used to have to be contacted to be adding users and things. So now, once you have access as a company administrator into your company, you own it, right? You can get in, you can administrate it, you add staff members, you can add central station information and all that stuff. So up at the top, you can see how many are online, how many accounts you have, the different service plans you're using. And like I said earlier, you can pull reports, for your accounting and whatnot. People want to pull reports to see how much money's going out, for service plans, things like that. We have that data available. You can see viewing all of your different accounts. You can customize the columns here on the top that you can see. There's account names, email, streets. All of this is customizable. You can make different views for yourself. Maybe you don't care to see the UUID or the status of the panel. You can make this even one column if you wanted to. It's all customizable just by going up here and editing the view. So I mean, it's really slick. All the customization you can do to make it yours. Again, customer details, all you need is the customer information. The way that you put a customer's information into Fusion Pro is an email address. That's what actually binds the panel, the ClareOne panel, to Fusion Pro. That and the UUID is all we need to for the panel to get working and to own it by the customer. We can change that in the future should somebody move out, or if there's another customer, maybe you have tenants, right? If you have tenants that are moving in and out, we have a wizard for that as well. I call it move in, move out with different tenants, where we have a wizard that pops up that erases PIN numbers and things like that gets you ready for the next tenant. Here's those service plans that we talked about a few minutes ago. We got the basic, interactive, interactive plus, and interactive plus LTE. If you want more information on those, we do have that information available. So if we don't expect you to memorize everything in the PowerPoint, we have this stuff that you can use. We can send it to you. Emergency contacts, everything just sets up nicely in Fusion Pro. It walks you through screen by screen. You add the customer, you pick a plan, you go and then you start adding your devices. And if you're doing monitoring, you set all of that up in Fusion Pro. Right now, the only thing you can really set up in the physical ClareOne panel, you can add security contacts, and they're adding Z-Wave as well. So you can add Z-Wave devices right through the physical ClareOne panel on site. The reason we do that is we do a lot of work with builders in case somebody's going in there's a model home that doesn't have an internet connection. Sometimes they want to put in some lighting, some door locks and things like that. And the security, you'll be able to do all of that right through the panel without a connection to the outside world. Here's some reporting. We allow you to filter on anything you need to. You can put in search keywords. You can filter through time. This is very, very helpful, especially if you're doing some troubleshooting. A lot of time you'll hear customers say, hey, no, we weren't even home during that time. And you look and say, oh, somebody opened the door, or somebody did this or did that. It's very helpful to be able to see these logs. Matter of fact, this was one of the top requested things that we put into Fusion Pro about a year or more ago, to have logging. So we added that in. And while I'm on that topic, if you're looking for something, including an integration, our team is great at building things out, and they're pretty quick at it. So if you're using something that you don't think we have, or you look in our list and you can't find an integration for it, or maybe you have a suggestion to add something in Fusion Pro, we actually have little webinars and meetings where you can actually get in and join the meeting and give your feedback. We listen, and we usually provide, whatever you're asking for. You'll see it in the next build. So we're very interactive with our dealer base, and we listen. So this is the actions. This is typically you're going to want your customers to build their actions, because if you get caught up with building all of them for the customer, guess what? You're going to be probably building the rest of them. So typically when I go to a home or something, and if I do want to help with an install, I do 1 or 2 of these scenes. And believe it or not, they actually have fun building them. So if you can get them into that phase, you can go and check in the actions here, and you'll be able to see exactly what they're doing. Not to trigger them or to do anything like that, but to look and open these up and see, if it's correct, or if the lights are turning on, or if the schedule is working. It's just a nice window to see, what's going on in the app. It's great to troubleshoot. We keep adding more and more to our test page on Fusion Pro. This started off very basic. There was no Z-Wave. There was nothing else in here. Now they've added a whole bunch of different security tests, and the list goes on and on. They just added more things in here on the last spring build. So when I'm saying don't roll the truck until you go into Fusion Pro, sometimes even if there's somebody swaps out door locks on a Z-Wave lock, maybe the thing goes offline and it won't come back online. You can literally come here, go down to the Z-Wave communication and hit the test button, and we send a message out to the lock, and it'll come back online. So, I mean, you do not, you definitely want to test these things before you head out. Security event communication log, that's a log for your communication to the central station. So it's completely different than the main activity log that you see that I was on earlier that showed everything opening and closing. You have a dedicated communication log if you're doing some type of central station troubleshooting. You want to see if the alarms got relayed or if something's getting stuck somewhere. But that does not mean just if you see it's relayed from our side, you're definitely going to want to go into the central station logs and make sure that they're seeing the same thing and it's synchronized with the times. In other words, don't strictly rely on Fusion Pro to make sure that the alarm system's working properly. You're going to want to check both sides, meaning Fusion Pro and your central station logs. And next here, we've got the more of the account stuff here to keep all your companies. You can make sub companies. In other words, maybe you have a subcontractor that's doing the installations and you're just doing Fusion Pro work. You can put in a sub company so that those customers in that sub company that can't see anything above. Maybe you have your own system in a demo in your office and you don't want those people to see your system. You can create a sub company where they can't see up, right? It's like a hierarchy. So you might want to do that too. Or if you have a large company with different, you have a different team that does rough-ins and programming, this would be a great way to program that. Other information here, your company settings, you have lots of different things you can change, just maybe your address or something changes. You can control your own staff members. We have different roles that you can assign. Maybe you have a new technician, you don't want them to be able to get in there and hack away or start deleting accounts or something. You can give them one of the minimum roles. So they'll be somewhat limited until, they worked for a while. Then you can bump them up to a higher tier like security admin or even a company admin. You have other things in here too to configure, like central stations and so on. While we're looking at all this good stuff for Fusion Pro, we do a Fusion Pro webinar every Thursday too, if you're interested. It's a quick way. It's about an hour long and it goes through just about every screen. So in detail. I know I'm whizzing through this pretty quick. So it's a good way to learn Fusion Pro. We have a dealer lockout page where you can put your information on this page on the ClareOne panel. These are great if you want somebody to activate the panel. Maybe it's a new home, working with a home builder. You don't want somebody to go in and just start using the panel, right? You want to maybe do some training or talk to them. Maybe you want to try to push some upgrades. You can put your information on that screen, and you'll either need a PIN number to access the actual panel inside, or you'll have to unlock it through Fusion Pro. It's a great way. I hate to say kick people out of the panel, but it's a great way to lock the panel. All right. So if you don't want somebody to access the panel, it's sitting there in a home, and you don't want them to get in, like even a model home or something, this is the way to do it. You can do everything through Fusion Pro. We used to have to do it on site, but we've changed that. So you can do all of the programming and all the customization right through Fusion Pro and push that file right down to the panel. Your company branding. So this is a closer look at the dealer screen. You can either build your own, or if you have a company logo and things, you can upload it right into the site and put it right on the screen. If you have a marketing company, we give you the dimensions of the screen. You can build the entire thing and upload it. So you have lots of options, right? You can build it. This one here that it shows is built right in Fusion Pro. And this is good enough, for someone that just wants to do a quick page. You can put your logo there and you're good to go. Welcome to your smart home. It's, again, you can see they've got their little icon here, the phone number. And like I said, you cannot get past this screen. It's locked, right? Unless you have the PIN number or you unlock it from Fusion Pro. All right, the cameras. And where are we with time? It's 2:45. I'm going to jump through these cameras real quick. So we'll see if we can get through this. I do want to leave a few minutes at the end for some questions and some interactive things. So our cameras, we have a whole selection of different cameras. You can see the app on the left-hand side. Form factors, we have bullets, turrets, and domes. And let's not forget about the video doorbell, which has been a great hit. It's been a really nice thing to have out. It's solid, it's reliable. We'll get to that here momentarily. Let's move on. Updated UI. This is not the same old. If you've been using the Clare system, this is a brand new app. It's modern UI layout. It's simple to use. You just add the cameras. There's no usernames and passwords you have to put in. It's very simple to add these devices once they're on the network. And a matter of fact, you can add devices right through the network. I always suggest having a laptop because you never know if you have to do some troubleshooting or some scanning of a network or something. But a lot of the guys just have a phone or a tablet that they use. You can switch between views. You can turn this into a live view, right? If you wanted to have a live tiles here where you don't have to pop open these icons to see what's going on, you can do that as well. This supports both standalone cameras and the NVRs, and both of them, the cameras have SD card storage, and there's hard drives in the NVRs. There's no cloud-based recording, so there's no fees. Use and control, switch between live view, history, and adjust the filters. These also have AI, which is artificial intelligence, in them where they can see just people with smart detection. And you can do all different types of recording if you have an NVR. Easily adjust image display settings and stream right through the app. There's a bunch of different notifications you can do right through the app as well. So we tried to make this as simple as possible. We have PTZ control. You can see that on the bottom of the screen here. The left, right, up, down, and you can also zoom. So deep linking, what is deep linking, right? Deep linking, the example that I always use is the Facebook with Facebook Messenger. When you're in Facebook and you wanted to, somebody type something to you, you tap down to open the messenger. And whether you know it or not, it actually flips behind the scenes and opens up a different app, which is the Facebook Messenger. We do something very similar with the app. If you've added cameras to your Clare Home app and you tap on one of the tiles to open it, this magically actually opens up the ClareVision app behind the scenes. All the colors and landscape and things are exactly the same. So you will really not even know it's in a different app, but you would have to hit the back button. It's seamless. I believe it shows here. You just tap the tile and this is what it looks like. It'll open it up. Reason we do that is then you can get in and see archived video. You can see the events. You can see everything. And we didn't have to put that into the home automation app. Not to mention, we do sell all of these cameras and the doorbell standalone. So a lot of people are using just this app and they're not using the smart home app, especially with the doorbell. A lot of people are using the doorbell and they don't even have a smart home solution. Simplified interface, redesigned user interface, super easy to use, right? You can filter out, and if you want full-time events, smart events, or motion events, you can filter on those and choose the event that you want to see. Control and manage all the cameras and NVRs. You can change the names and manage those that way. Event integration into the ClareOne panel. You can easily add these, both the NVR or the standalone cameras. You have rules, notifications, as well as actions. These are deeply integrated into Clare. So you can actually trigger events from a doorbell press of the button, a motion event, a smart event, right? If a human being walks into the driveway, maybe you have coach lights and you want them to turn on at nighttime or something like that, you can trigger those events from the events that are going on in the cameras. Notifications, you can also turn on notifications for pretty much anything. And obviously you can turn them off if you're getting annoyed. So you have that option as well. Email notifications, I believe you can still send attached screenshots as well through those notifications if you wanted to see what was going on when the camera got triggered. And we support over-the-air updates, making it super easy so you don't have to update these manually. Here's a detailed look at the different types of cameras. We have V100, V200, V300. There's a lot of information there. The V100 cameras are the value series. They do not have artificial intelligence in them at all. They're just your basic motion detection. They're simple, easy to use, but they do have that limitation. And just for a little bit more, you can go up to the V200, which do have the smart events, which are smart events that'll do human body detection. They do line cross, intrusion, people gathering, and loitering. So you could even use these in a gas station or something. If people are loitering, you get an alert for that. They really work well, and you can avoid all of those fake notifications, right? Where there's dirt and leaves and a bug crawls across the screen. You can avoid those notifications using these V200s and V300 cameras. The V300s are a little bump up. We have a color at night varifocal, and there's a couple other choices that you can get in the V300 series. I love the cameras. I think the video image quality is superb. If you've used them or not, they look great. They're as good as any other camera, and the prices are well. So I would definitely take a look at the cameras. If you haven't used one before, maybe grab one camera and just check it out, right? And see if you like it. I think the image quality, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. We also have NVRs. And before I skip to that, I know it's about time to end this, but every one of these cameras, if you're getting a 4 megapixel camera, it'll come with a 36 gigabit card, SD card built in. If you get a 2 megapixel, it'll come with a 16. Those cards are built into the cameras. You don't have to go purchase a new one unless you want to do an upgrade. Same with the doorbell. The doorbell comes with a 16 gigabyte SD card. So that's great, right? They're just about plug and play. You can take them out of the box and use them. They're going to start recording immediately on motion detection. So if you want to change that to smart events using a V200, you can do so. The reason the the 8 megapixel cameras don't come with an SD card is because typically people use an NVR with those just because there's a lot of bandwidth, to record on. So those do not come with an SD card, but we do have NVRs. First, the doorbell. I'm not going to go through every bullet point, but I can tell you that this thing is a great option to use for the doorbell. There's no fees associated with it. We're selling a whole bunch of these. They're consistent. They're reliable. I've been using one since August, and I've had zero issues with it. It works great with any Wi-Fi. If you're going to be swapping out somebody else's doorbell, like a Ring or whatever they're using, you're not going to be let down saying, well, the old one worked, but this one, we put this in, it sucks. This thing is good. It's gold. So if you want more information, you can always go onto the website and read. But I think this is one of our better products. Surveillance ecosystem. And I know I'm going to go through pretty quick. We do have NVRs. We do integrate with OnVIF appliances and cameras. And here you can see the NVR is on or has Oversee built in. It's baked in there as well. So if you put that into Oversee, we are adding more and more features that you can do. You'll eventually be able to upgrade the NVR through Oversee. But for now, just to have everything in the Oversee ecosystem, it's nice to have everything in there for online, offline, for notifications, things like that. These work with the ClareOne system. They have their own app. They're OnVIF compliant, meaning you can hook up other cameras to the NVR. If they're OnVIF compliant, which is a popular camera protocol, you can use any of those and connect to them. So it's a great thing. It's very versatile. We do have different kinds of NVRs. There's a 4-channel, 8-channel, and 16-channel. And one of the great things about them, if you have a 4-channel NVR, you can hook up 9 cameras. If you have an 8, you can hook up 16. If you have a 16-channel NVR, you can hook up to 25 cameras. They do have PoE ports on the back of the NVRs. When you run out of ports, you'd have to use either a PoE adapter or a PoE switch. But you can definitely expand those NVRs, especially if you have a 4-channel NVR, somebody wants to add additional cameras. You don't have to swap out the hardware. You can just add a camera. I like to call them virtual ports because there's no port on the back of the NVR to connect it to. But as long as it's on that same network, you'll be able to point that channel to the camera, and you're good to go. So there are cutting edge features. I think the main thing with these cameras, they're all NDAA compliant. They come with the SD card, so they're ready to go right out of the box. They're all P2P platforms, so there's no networking, port forwarding, things of that nature. The actions, notifications, you can do all of those smart events, and they all are compatible in Clare Home if you wanted to trigger events, things like that. And in my personal opinion, I think they have the best image quality, pretty much that comparable with any of the best cameras. This is a view of the different life comparison with very low lighting. I'm going to skip through here really quick because I think we have some more important things to do. Color at night cameras. We came out with these, I believe, a year or two ago. I use these at home, obviously not pointed at the neighbor's house, but they're great in a parking lot. They're great in a driveway. What it is the IR that used to be the two parts in the camera, they're LEDs. If somebody doesn't see the camera, you can make the camera lights flash, right? If somebody's walking up the driveway or something, they don't see the camera, they're definitely going to see it when you start flashing those LED lights on it. They work great. You can see the differences here in the pictures with the LEDs off and the IR on. The IR is great still. I mean, they do a great job at nighttime, but if you want to have that little bit more clarity, you can grab a V300 color at night camera. Another picture of the color at night cameras. You can see the IR compared to the color at night. But keep in mind, they do have lights on them. So you don't want to probably use those indoor unless it's like in a gymnasium or something like that. They're not going to be the greatest for, a hallway or something like that, because the night lights are probably going to affect you. There's the NVRs. I just talked about those and the different sizes that they come with. You can see the support with red of what I just mentioned about the channels. Everything under the ClareVision umbrella is NDAA compliant. There's no Hikvision, there's no DAWA, there's no high silicon. These are great for any job. So why ClareVision? It's a quick recap, right? You can, they're standalone. You can use them with an SD card or an NVR. There's great value if you check out the prices. They have Sony Starvis True WDR. They have microcards or micro SD card slots. Most of the cameras you can upgrade to a 512 gigabyte card, which is plenty of storage space. And all those different things that says compliance. It is compatible with the OnVIF. That's the one that's most important to me, because you can use the NVR with different cameras. So, and I'm sorry I'm rushing through here, but it's already 2:56. I'm just trying to get through everything. We're growing. We have now Wi-Fi cameras and fisheyes that came out a while back. The Wi-Fi cameras do need to be powered, obviously, and they are not PoE, because if they were, you'd probably use a regular camera. Native oversee and SDD support for the NVRs. What does that mean? Oversee, I've already talked about. SDDP support is for Control 4. They will automatically populate if you have the ClareVision driver in your Control 4. So it's really a cool thing to have everything under one umbrella. We're here to help. We have a great technical support, which I can brag about. Everything is done here, right? It's done in Sarasota. It's done in Charlotte. We have local support. Nothing is handed out. Nothing is overseas. We do everything. We do it all. So we have the best guys that answer calls. You can probably ask around if you know somebody that's doing a Claire or any of the other Snap One. We take pride in our support system. There's me, Jerry Volda. I'm the best. I'm kind of the Claire subject matter expert. So you can call me anytime. I'm one of those guys that answers. Builder program. You want to learn more about the Claire Builder program? You'll want to hit up Jason Coleman. His information's there. If you have a builder opportunity, there's a good chance that he will actually come out and assist you and do a quick dog and pony show where the builder can't say no. I've seen it in action, and he's an expert. So there's your contact information. Want to become a dealer? We've got dealer applications. You would have to fill out a dealer application and submit it. It's actually a quick, easy process, and we get back to you right away. There's nothing on that on the application that's painful to complete. It's a pretty easy, straightforward process. So you would do that. You fill it out. You submit it, and we would get back to you. And before long, you'll be doing Claire. So we're going to open this up for some questions. And while we're doing that, we do have a couple of offers, promotions, since you guys spent some time with us this afternoon, which we appreciate. A new partner offer. If you sign up, you can get $500 towards your first purchase. I can tell you that's actually a lot of equipment. So I think that's a great deal. And there's a QR code there. You can scan it. And there's also a promo code. You can do that. Or if you're an existing partner, which we definitely appreciate you coming on board today and sharing the time with us, 25% off Claire and ClareVision products with that promo code. So either choice here is a great way to go. So I think we can open this up if anybody has a question, or if anyone's typed in questions that were not addressed.
Yes, we have a couple questions. The first one is, how do I become a Claire dealer?
All right. I think we were just
Kind of on that
on
page.
that. I'm going to go back a screen if I can. Okay, or not. We have an application process that we use to become a dealer. We can actually get on those from either the Claire website or from the Snap One website. Either way, we have those easily accessible. And if I can pull this page up again, there we go. We'll be able to pull that up for you. This page, dealer application. if you can click these links, I don't know if you can, but you can always jot them down. The easiest probably way to do it is just to go to the Snap One or the Clare Controls website, and you'll see there's a new dealer tab at the top of the screen. So you'll be able to navigate your way there.
All right. And the next question is, there was a mention of a free service plan tier. What are the limitations of using this plan?
All right. Yep. So we did go over those service plans. I tried to spend a lot of time there. The only limitation using the basic service plan is you will not be able to access any of the security features through your mobile device. So you'll be able to access everything else, whether it's locks, lights, thermostats, and whatnot, whatever you have on your system, but you'll have a limitation and you won't be able to access the security system through the app.
All right. And it looks like the last one is, this looks similar to the alarm.com based systems. Are there benefits to using Claire?
Yes, there are benefits. I think the first and foremost would probably be the pricing tiers. I know with the other system, sometimes when you add different products and different devices, they can add up on your bill. They don't only you get a bill with no matter how many devices you've got. I know they've got different gold packages, things like that. But if you're going to add a thermostat or cameras, I know they're a cloud-based system and they can do an a la carte pricing on you. Our system, you can have 1 million devices on it, probably not 1 million, quite a few devices on it. We don't ever raise the prices, right? So if you have the $5 a month fee for the LTE, which is our highest plan, you can have as many devices as you want. We will never raise the price for you adding a device. We might have something for Nest just for a subscription fee, something like that, but that's their fee. We don't have our own fees for different devices that you add to the system.
All right, that is all I saw for questions. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. And of course, if you have any questions, you can reach out to the Snap One team, which will be all their information, like Jerry had stated prior, will be in the email that you will get with the link to this recording. So I hope everyone has a great day and thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.